thank any of our stakeholders that are listening live on Facebook who've been continually supporting our efforts. And I also want to give a great thanks to the media who always support our efforts by connecting us statewide. For the last few weeks, we have seen a country awoken by the fires of change. While we wholeheartedly wish for and encourage peaceful protests, we still are proud of the amount of change that has happened around the nation. Now we are firm believers that protests and demonstrations are one form of advocacy, but they are not the only forms of advocacy. As you may know, my fellow IBLC members and I practice advocacy with our legislation and our roles in the General Assembly. This means that we advocate for you in our daily jobs, and we will continue to do so long after justice is served for the families of Mr. Reed and the countless others like him. We will not let another unjustified Black death go unnoticed without change. We are preparing today to ensure our community that we will continue to work here at the State House in the People's House. Since we are not in session until January, we are requesting that the governor take immediate action to reform our justice system, including but not limited to: 1. We urge Governor Holcomb to issue an executive order to immediately ban law enforcement from using chokehold restraints or other means of restraint that cut off the ability to breathe as a means of effectuating an arrest in Indiana. This order must include specific repercussions officers will face by violating this ban. 2, if there is no action by the governor, we urge Indiana mayors, city councils, and chiefs of police to immediately establish a local policy that outlaws the use of a chokehold restraint or other means of restraint that cut off the ability to breathe as a means of effectuating an arrest in Indiana. Additionally, we urge these entities to immediately implement the use of body cameras for all patrol officers and require them to be on at all times. If not, a penalty should be assessed. 3, we urge the governor to immediately establish a statewide criminal justice commission, including a diverse appointing of civilian representatives from cities with significant African American populations, to examine every aspect of our state's criminal justice system and recommend comprehensive criminal justice reform, including the eradication of racist policing policies. We expect these recommendations to become bills that get passed in the 2021 legislative session. 4, we urge Indiana mayors, city councils, and chiefs of police to immediately establish local, independent civilian review boards with members selected by local community activist groups to review public complaints of police violence. We expect answers and diligent consideration of our recommendations by the current administration. In addition, this month, the IBLC will craft a legislative action plan with the input from the public during the IBLC virtual town halls, June 11th and the 25th. The plan will include, but is not limited to, legislation pertaining to recommendations from the Statewide Criminal Justice Commission, statewide use of body and dashboard cameras, local-wide special prosecutor for police misconduct and use of fatal excess force, public reporting of lethal force involving law enforcement, statewide public database for citizens' complaints against law enforcement officers, anti-racial profiling law, enhanced penalties for officers involved shootings, inclusive hate crime legislation, ensuring FOP contracts are public record and requiring a public hearing for renewal, mental health reviews for police officers, confidential whistleblower complaint process for officers, and implicit bias, dispute resolution, and de-escalation training for officers. We will continue to work with community members to improve our state, especially for Black lives, but for all lives. Thank you and much love. We are open to any Q&A now.
So the Black Caucus has been promoting a lot of agenda reform items for years that have been mostly ignored by the Republican controlled building. What makes this time different?
I think the advocacy from the people, the pain and the hurt, and everyone coming out and protesting, everyone has been sick and tired for many years, but now they're really sick and tired. So I think the push from the public coming out and protesting, the push for them wanting new policy changes, never before since civil rights movement have we had this type of movement. And I think now is the time where people are saying we are fed up enough that no matter what COVID, no matter our pain, we're going to come out and stand up. And I'm hoping our leaders will listen. So we will send this to Governor Holcomb's office today, and then we will request a meeting by the end of the month to go over our full agenda. But we will definitely meet with him about these recommendations and these executive orders that we want him to do.
But have you talked to him since this has happened? Has he contacted you at all?
No, he has not. So he hasn't contacted me directly to talk about any of this. So I know the media have asked that before, but no, we have not been reached out to directly to talk about this. Any more questions?
On the executive order, the first item here, are you confident that he has the legal authority to issue that kind of executive order? I know he's been doing a lot related to the public health emergency, but the public health emergency allows him to do a lot in that short time window. Does he have the authority to do this?
So per our legal counsel, per our attorneys that are on our membership, they said that the governor can do an executive order that has to do with any health or safety issue around the state. So police officers using a chokehold, we consider that a health and safety risk.
I know the governor said that he has his own personal list of, what he plans to do to help the Black community to address racism and some of the issues that you guys have brought up. Have you seen the governor's list? I know we've requested it several times this week. Have you seen it?
We have not been privy to a list. I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you what's on his list, but I'll be happy to receive it if he sends it to us. So we will send this information to Mayor Hogsett. I know his administration is working on some policy changes that they said they will reveal in the next couple of days, but we're hoping that those policy changes also include some of these efforts. I haven't talked to him directly, but we were on a panel, I think, yesterday together, and it was brought up, and so they mentioned it.
I know some of your members are on the commission that specifically deals with disparities with COVID-19. Can anybody talk about how that's going so far? I know there's a June deadline coming up on your recommendations. Can we just get a quick update if someone would like to?
Sure. I'm on the committee. I'm on the task force, and also Representative Summers and Senator Breaux and Representative Porter. So we all can give you our observations. The committee so far, the task force is going great. We have already had our second week of committee meetings. I'm on the chronic illness committee. So we have a great group of people that's really working to bring out these disparities and come up with recommendations. The report is due by June 30th to the governor and to the legislature. We have a timeline set up that we're confident that we'll meet that deadline. But I will just say for the committee that I'm on, I'm proud of the people that's been involved, that's been coming to the meetings and actually giving forth good legislative recommendations. If Representative Summers or Porter or Breaux want to come down and...
Thank you. I sit on the nursing home, long-term care, and assisted living committee. We have had our second meeting. We have our recommendations. They are in. So we are very happy to help the future of nursing homes. One of the things that we thought was we didn't know what the future of nursing homes were going to be. So we had to look at that also. So we've worked very hard, and it was a small committee, but we did a magnificent job of getting our recommendations.
Thank you. I'm very proud to serve on the Communications Committee, and what we have been trying to do is to, we looked at the All in Indiana, the state's motto, and it, from a representative standpoint, there are no folks that really look like us on any of the advertisings, and so, you know, we are certainly coming up with our own to let folks know that that they are part of this whole COVID effort, and we're also trying to make sure that we address it from an education standpoint, from an access standpoint, and from a long-term understanding what you need to do to protect yourself over the long term.
Any other questions? Most definitely. We did meet with the governor and gave him our funding suggestions for that money. The recommendations that we had given initially for COVID, we actually itemized out which organizations, which things should receive funding. We requested a whole outreach specifically towards African Americans that would be led by IMHC, so that would need funding. But we included increased testing sites and triage sites for Black neighborhoods. We also talked about making sure those essential workers have a living wage, not just a minimum wage, and making sure they have paid leave and hazard pay. So those were just a couple of things that we itemized out and actually included where the money should go. Thank you. Thank you all. Oh, thank you.